Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to another live stream for the Empire. Just working on the first episode of the new season, which is tracking along nicely. Hope to have that done by the end of this month. And yeah, pretty happy with this one. I think it's going to be quite funny. It's turning out really nice. Sorry, just bear with me while I just set everything up here so I can see what's going on. And yeah, here we go. Oh, thank you for that. Joaquin, I hope I said that right. So once again, just going to be working on just this little sequence of dialogue here. I've switched off the audio for the dialogue because I don't want to give away too many spoilers. But we'll just start building a little animation here around that. So as always, first thing we do, drag and drop our characters onto the timeline. I hope the audio is okay. Hope everyone can clear. I think I've worked out finally all the bugs in terms of getting a decent level. It's not a super high quality mic, but if I keep doing these, maybe I'll need to reinvest. Is Unreal Engine free? Yes, it is. It is absolutely free. It is free to download from Epic Games. What you may need to invest in is a new computer to run it, because it is quite intensive. Hi Q, I'm doing great. Oh, just realized got my phone's audio turned up, so I'm hearing myself. So what's the difference between Unreal Engine and Unity? I couldn't tell you with any great authority because I haven't used Unity, unfortunately. It has taken quite a lot of my time just to learn this one. So yeah, I can't really answer that with any great authority, sorry. Although I did see the trailer recently for the Unity release, I think, and wow, it actually looked really impressive. For the Empire. So just positioning our dudes here, dude 1 and dude 2, and we'll drag a camera in and set up a shot. So if you've watched some of these, you may realize that there's a fairly repetitive nature to building these, which is fine. You know, it's not repetitive in a bad way. It's repetitive in the sense that you get into the flow of it. How did I learn to use Unreal Engine? Trial and error. It really was just playing and experimenting. But having said that, there's a ton of assets and resources online, and very generous people who will who have made their learning journeys freely available to learn from as well. So it's a steep learning curve, but it's not impossible. If I can do it, you know, anyone can do it. I'm not a techie guy, and I've managed to figure it out. You're making a game with Unity. That's great. I haven't got into the gaming side at all. I'm just purely focusing on the filmmaking. So I don't know if anybody noticed down there, but we have switched on channel membership. So if anybody feels the need to be even more involved with For the Empire, that is an option now. You can go ahead and join the channel, become a channel member for a reasonably small amount, and get a few extra goodies. realized I'm pointing my camera in the wrong direction after setting all that up. Once again, just check focus. And there we go. So now we've got our little sequence here with a very basic, see they both turn at the same time, so we got to switch that off and make it a little more unique for both of them. So we'll start on this character. So now we can edit him frame by frame and delete all his head animations. Oh, yes, the Emperor Escalator clip. Yes, I've watched that numerous times. It's very funny. In fact, there's even a live action remake I think they made at some convention sometime. Yes, watched a lot of Robot Chicken. So the problem with this episode, I guess, is that I can't really show you most of the more interesting bits, I guess, because I don't want to give too much away, but they do a lot more than just stand around in this episode. But like I said, I kind of want to keep those bits hidden a little bit. Just try and get rid of that little turn he does as much as I can. Where can I see those videos? What videos? Is that Robot Chicken you're talking about, or? Robot Chicken is just it's all over YouTube. You just do a search on Robot Chicken Star Wars and you'll find them. Robot Chicken, was it one of my influences? I guess. Indirectly. Mostly, as I think I've mentioned somewhere else, the idea for making this was more of a practical decision than anything else, because I felt like I'd gotten far enough into my Unreal journey, I guess, that I was ready to start making an animation, an actual short film, but I hadn't figured out anything resembling lip sync, online dialogue, that kind of thing. So Stormtroopers, yeah, they're funny. Well, they're not supposed to be funny, but they kind of have become inherently funny in a lot of ways, because they're the ultimate straight guys, because they can't change their expressions. But yeah, no need for online lip sync, which was great at my level of learning then. Oh, I'm glad they made you laugh. It's one of the things I like reading about most is that people have, maybe it's brightened their day a little bit discovering this and watching it. That's always nice to hear. So obviously you can't hear the dialogue that I'm syncing it to, but I'm sort of listening to it and just trying to match his head motions to what he's saying, roughly. Dean Brown. Yes, this is Peter. Is that Dean Brown? Stormtroopers, Star Wars, red shirts. Yes, there's a very famous comic, isn't there, where two kids are playing stormtroopers in red shirts, and one of them misses and the other one dies anyway. Yeah. Hey, Dean, you still in Australia, is it? Mofungo, am I going to make more of this video? Yes, this is the first of the new season. Yeah, hoping to make a few more of these this year. Hopefully more than season 1. It kind of depends how the channel does in some ways, because if it keeps growing at its current rate and turns into, I don't want to say a money spinner, but if it supports itself, then you know, I can justify putting a lot more time into this. But otherwise I'll have to go out and get a real job. So what I do like about this is, I think I've mentioned it before, it's like, I've always enjoyed puppeteering, the idea of puppeteering, and this is very much like puppeteering. Just frame by frame puppeteering. Oh, thank you, Loki the God. Welcome aboard. Say no to real jobs, that's the idea. Just try and make what you love your job, right? So once again, I'd feel like I wasn't doing the best job of promoting myself if I didn't mention the channel memberships, which are now open. Please go and take a look at the join button underneath this very video, I believe, and see how that works, because it's very new. I've only put it up today, and let's see how it goes. So just going to add some spine movements as well, just to, so he's not just flicking his head back and forth. Hey, comics guy, thank you very much for saying that. That's great to hear. I guess one of the tricks with this animation is always to try to make them not look too jerky. Hello, Jesse. Welcome, loyal trooper. I'm actually really looking forward to getting this one out, because there's a lot going on in this one. It's quite funny. I think it's funny. Thank you, Mofungo. But the only thing we're really waiting on is just finishing off the voices, because one of our leads, Callum, who plays TKFNG, is currently traipsing around Europe on a big OE, overseas experience. So he'll be back soon, and we can knock this off properly. Hey Freckles Play, you've probably heard my voice before if you've watched these videos. I've played a few parts, done some cameos, but this is my normal speaking voice, yes. Save in case of crashes. Does anyone have any ideas for other properties, franchises, universes that might be ripe for this kind of treatment? I know a few things have come up, but I've often thought about that. Jesse, the learning curve on this engine. Steep. Steep. Yeah. I mean, possibly steeper for me because I'd never used anything like this before. If you've done anything in Unity or older versions of Unreal, probably shallower. But yeah, there's a bit of a different way of thinking about doing things. Warhammer Fantasy, Elder Scrolls, yep. I'd have to brush up on my Warhammer lore because it's all changed now, hasn't it? Thinking about Dungeons and Dragons, but that's all kind of up in the air as well, isn't it? Till things settle down a bit there. Game of Thrones from a basic soldier's point of view. Oh, that's an interesting idea. Video editor, don't really animate. Yeah, well, same really. I was an editor filmmaker. I hadn't really done any animation before this. DC Universe Online, yep. I mean, the possibilities are endless. It really is just a matter of time for a lot of it, because every new property, every new thing that we make, you have to build the characters for it. the locations and stuff like that. The one I did with the moisture farmers just recently. That didn't take too long. So once I've built something, probably want to keep using them to a degree. So you'll probably see a few more moisture farmer episodes. I hope you enjoyed it. It was a bit silly, but it was nice to do something a little bit New Zealand specific. I might just turn down the quality a little bit because it's just starting to chug. So that's a nice base for our first guy. So now we'll go on to our second character and tweak their animation. Hey, 41 people watching. I think that's a new record. Have you ever had feedback from George Lucas or Lucasfilm? I probably can't say, but I have it on good authority that they have watched some of the episodes, so they know of our existence. Hole in the World release. Yes, 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 yes. It is coming. It is coming. I've made a board. I've made a schedule board. I'm trying to get more organized. There's a whole day dedicated this week to just working on that and trying to get out episode 1 of about 5 episodes within 2 or 3 weeks. So yes, I haven't forgotten about it. Oh, 50 people. Wow. Hello, everybody. Have I considered using motion capture? Well, technically, these are motion capture. All these movements here, like the base idle motion from mixamo.com, which is where I download. They are all motion captured animations, but I don't have a motion capture suit myself, no. Wouldn't mind getting one though. Sounds like fun. Would that be the royal they? I don't know. I couldn't possibly say. That'd be nice to. In fact, one of the more amazing things I think would be actually if Mark Hamill found out about it and tweeted about being called the skinny blonde kid. It's kind of a dream of mine. Moving pixels instead of clay. Yeah, well, more like keyframes, really. It's like, if you think of it like, there is a skeleton inside these characters, and you're just moving every individual part. And it can be fiddly and it can be time consuming, but I once I get into the flow of it, I really enjoy it. What's your background experience? How much is self-taught? I am a filmmaker by trade. If you've had a look at the other videos on the website, AFK, the live action web series, that's more my field up till this point. But it's been very surprising how much of my real world experience, real life filmmaking experience, has translated across into Unreal fairly nicely. I mean, in terms of camera moves, camera framing, setups, lighting, shot composition, that kind of thing, it's all exactly the same. There's nothing different about it. Even the kinds of lights within Unreal. And costume design, making the characters look the way you want, that kind of thing. That's all the same. Props, sets, it's all just digital instead of real life, and it's just learning the technical side of getting them into the software. So I would say that having a film background, if this is what you're wanting to do with Unreal, is actually really useful, because it's one step that you don't have to learn from scratch, is the filmmaking side of it. Can the software do micro motions on faces? Oh, thank you, Carl. Yeah, actually it can. Yeah, I've invested in an iPhone because they have the camera which can do the sort of the 3D scanning, and I've plugged that into iClone, and there'll be some animations coming up where you can see how, yeah, real micro expressions, as you say, how they do get picked up, which is really nice. This means I don't have to animate them. Jesse, did COVID permakill any chance of live action? I don't want to say it's permakilled it. It has definitely made it more difficult because I think on a previous video, everything just seems to be a lot harder and a lot more expensive in the field of live action nowadays. Especially low budget fantasy, which is hard at the best of times. But hope springs eternal, and you know, with the channel doing as well as it is right now, the time may be ripe very soon for another go at the Kickstarter, which hopefully this time won't be interrupted by a global pandemic. For those of you not in the know, our last Kickstarter for AFK, the live action season 3, kicked off just before COVID really took off, and we had to cancel it. Thank you, Brad Brown. So once again, while there's quite a few people watching, I'll remind everybody of the possibility of super thanks if everybody was feeling generous, and memberships, which are now a thing as of from today, which can be accessed by the little join button directly below this very video. Just probably going to use this as a base for now, and come back to this later on when I can really focus on it and fine-tune it. But you know, that's what this is all about, just starting with a foundation, starting with a little skeleton base and building on top of it. No, the AFK Patreon did not go away. In fact, yes, again, I have been drawing again. I've been working on the comic. I've got the next page about half finished. I know that's been gone for a long time, nearly a year. That's embarrassing. I kind of hit a wall in terms of drawing, but I'm back into it now, and I know I need to get that done. Thank you, Carl, for that super chat. We're going to see a Twi'lek? Yes, I would like to do a Twi'lek. Twi'leks are hard because of the whole Leku thing. I'd have to figure out how to do the bones in that, but hard, but not impossible. So yes, would like to do a Twi'lek. I do my editing in Premiere. So I export shots out individually from Unreal and do all the editing inside Premiere. You can do sequences in Unreal, like shot by shot by shot. I haven't really figured out how to do it, and I think I prefer the flexibility of doing it in Unreal anyway. Did the bodies look rubbery? Because the bodies are rubbery because they're reasonably what's called low poly models. I'm sure if I was a better 3D animator, I'd be able to make it look like they were actually wearing armor. But currently at this point, I'm trying to prioritize, I guess, story and just getting them done over, I don't want to say quality, over model quality at this point, because, I mean, I could spend days and weeks building the perfect stormtrooper, but that's days and weeks that I wouldn't actually be making any stories. So I guess this is kind of a trade-off, and hopefully it's charming in their in their low poly quality. How did I think of the stormtrooper video in the first place? Stormtroopers are funny. I find them funny. I know they're supposed to be intimidating, but I think I just said before, they're the ultimate straight man, ultimate poker face. And you can just kind of project any sort of emotion onto them. Okay, we've got to keep track of which character I'm working on as well, because hey, they both look the same. Yeah, a few people have asked for clone trooper stuff, like prequel era stories. Not out of the question. Yeah, I think ISO Bandit, I think the trick is to excuse me. I think the trick is just to have the body of the character quite bare, and all the pieces of armor are actually separate models which get attached to that skeleton. But like I said, it's just the time of making it work. Or if we start getting really successful, maybe I can help find somebody to do it for me and pay them a decent amount of money. Just give it a little camera shake on as well, just to make this shot look a little bit more alive. So, I mean, the dream for this would be to try and do one a month. But then, of course, you have to try and keep up the, not just the animation, but the quality of the script writing as well, because we don't want to let that fall off. Got about 5 stories lined up, and yeah, pretty happy with all of them so far. So that's at least 5, including this one. Thanks, Adam. Well, stormtroopers are like the ultimate henchmen, aren't they, really? The ultimate faceless henchman. So just put a little camera move on here. So I'm gonna start to bring the scene to life a little bit more with some moving lights, because we want the city to feel alive. So I've got this light here which I can drag into the scene and just pull out a little bit. Carl, are we going to see Vader? I can neither confirm nor deny. That's all I'm going to say. But yes, it is always fun when a named character appears. Certainly possible. So I'm just going to have this fly-through scene, just this light, which suggests some sort of hovercraft going by. So it's probably going to be going a bit too slow, actually, so we're just going to speed that up. Is making the feel video Kazumi, or what? I'm sorry, I couldn't quite follow that question. The feel video Kazumi are making me feel real easy to do. I might need you to get you to rephrase that question. I'm not quite sure what that was asking. So that light goes across, and how it looks on screen is could probably be a little brighter. Just adjusting the intensity of the light. By the field, do you mean the field of 3D animation, or? I don't want to say it's easy. It's not. It's a learning curve. Yeah, it's quite a steep learning curve, and it takes perseverance, I guess. And there'll be days where you just want to pack it in and give up, and certainly was for me. There were days when it's just like, oh, this is too hard. Everything's doesn't make sense. Why doesn't it work the way I think it should? But it's a bit like learning a new language as well, and you gotta stick with it. That's actually probably a pretty good analogy. It's learning a new language. So just adding some sort of flashing lights in the background there. It's supposed to be like a refinery planet, I guess, this one. There's factories in the background and things like that. What story? Oh, thank you, Banjo Fret. I'm glad to hear that people are inspired to make their own stuff. That's inspiring by itself as well for me. What story video do you recommend starting with from your channel? What you enjoy. Yeah. I wouldn't worry too much about what's cool or what's trending or anything like that. Just make stuff you enjoy making. Because it's gonna come across in your product as well. If you're having fun watching it and making it, then people will have fun, yeah, watching it as well. There is a lot of time management. I mean, you can see how long this shot is taking, and I'm probably not even halfway through this one. There's a lot more fine-tuning to do. Ooh, so many questions coming through. How many people do you have on your cast and crew? Well, for these Stormtrooper ones, it is 4. 3 voices and me doing all the animations. Unless you want to count the people who have built the 3D assets in the background, which I purchased off online 3D websites. But most of the time it is just lonely old me sitting in front of this computer, plugging away with my keyframes. Do I randomize movement with noise in my animations? No, I haven't done any of that. No, I just rely on the base motion captured animations and kind of build on top of them. Which character am I doing? That's right. Oh, another big flow of questions. No, I don't play either of the Stormtroopers. That's 2 other guys, Dallas and Callum. Script writers, pretty much just me at this point, but the other 2 guys have a lot of input into the scripts. Sometimes there's a lot of back and forth things. Sometimes they come out quite quickly. But yeah, there's a lot of input from Callum and Dallas into these as well. Barkerism, what video of mine should I start with? Oh, AFK pilot episode season 1, I guess. If you're interested in the live action, if you're interested in this one, the very first one was First Day. Video called First Day. Andrew Lindley, are we going to see any more of the great Alban acting? Anything's possible. We never saw a body. If you don't see a body, they could have survived. And I did enjoy his performance. So chances are that, yes, maybe we'll get Alban back to do another voiceover if he's keen, which I think he would be. Okay guys, I'll probably call that a day just for this shot. I'll keep fine-tuning and tweaking that later. But thank you for tuning in. Great to see so many people watching. Hope I managed to answer all your questions. Once again, if you're new to the channel, please like and subscribe. We kind of have 2 series going on here at the moment, which is AFK, which is the live action web series, and For the Empire, which is the Star Wars animation series, which you're looking at the behind the scenes of now. We just started channel memberships today. I'll mention it again. So if you want to get some early access to some of these, along with some other goodies, yeah, channel memberships are available for a reasonably low price. Join button just below. But yeah, once again, thank you everybody, and we'll catch you again soon. Okay, bye-bye.